Hey guys, welcome to the Old Ultra Runner channel. I'm your host Jay Tynert, and today I want to do a which shoe for you comparison between two of my favorite long run recovery day shoes. I have the Altra Torin 5 and the Skechers Go Run Max Road 5s. I find they're both highly cushioned. They're both fairly light for the amount of cushion they provide, and they are my two favorite shoes for right now. First, for long runs and recovery days. First, let me talk a little bit about the Torin 5. It has a 28mm stack height in the heel, a 28mm stack height in the forefoot. It's a zero drop, or balanced cushion as Altra likes to now say. These have been really good, extremely comfortable shoes for me. They feel like, to me, they're like my favorite put on and recover day shoes. They are extremely cushioned. They feel like slipping on a slipper and running. That being said, there is a negative. This tongue is very sharp. It's kind of hard, and if you have on no socks or you have on thin socks, this digs into the front of your ankle, and I don't like that. I have found that I have no problem as long as I wear a sock that's long enough to be above it, and it's probably medium weight. Then these are extremely comfortable shoes. If for some people that's a deal breaker because they like running in thin socks or no socks. So, but that is the biggest issue I've had with these shoes. Other than that, they are extremely comfortable. They have the Ego Max midsole, which is extremely soft. It's very soft, and there's a pretty good amount of it, the 28mm stack height. The Ego midsole is supposed to be pretty responsive. Now, what I will say my take on these shoes is the Ego Max is extremely soft, so you feel like you're sinking down, but because of the energy return of the Ego part, it springs you back up, and it doesn't feel really squishy. I don't feel they're very propulsive, like you're not bouncing up and down the road, but the softness is not bothering me at all. So these are my favorite shoes to put on for a long easy run or just a recovery day. They are pretty light for a highly cushioned trainer. In my men's size 11.5, they come in at 9.88 ounces on my scale. I think they're right around 9 ounces or 9.1 ounces according to Altra for a men's size 9. But like I said, for men's size 11.5, for me they're 9.88 ounces, which is not heavy at all. So you should be able to run pretty fast in these. I do not find them as fast feeling as the Go Run Max Road 5s, probably because I feel like a lot of the bounciness in the Ego is used to make up for how soft these are. But man, for going for a easy, comfortable ride, these are awesome. So I'm really enjoying them. The other thing I'll say about them is, in my Altra Riveras and even in my previous Altra Torins, I wore through the sole pretty quickly, and I said when I first got these that the rubber felt like it might be a little bit harder. I don't know if that's true. I still don't know if that's true, but these are wearing better. I'm nearing 200 miles, and they look like they're going to last me a good 400 at least, because I'm not wearing through the sole yet. So I've been happy with these shoes. If I move to my Max Road 5s from Skechers, they drastically improved from the previous model. They have a lot of hyperburst, so these are a much taller stack height shoe. They have 39mm stack height in the heel, 33 in the forefoot, so you're definitely off the ground more with these. But so to me, they're not quite as stable if you're going to run jump off into the grass or off-road as like the Torin 5s. But they have improved the stability a lot in these by adding they have a carbon infused H plate in the front, which has helped with stability. I also think it helps a little bit with propulsion and toe off. and they've added several overlays which have helped with it being more stable too. So for the height of the shoe, I think it's pretty stable, good shoe now. They've also improved the upper. It's extremely breathable. The Torin 5 is also extremely breathable. So they have both worked for me during the summer. They've been good shoes. As far as the ride goes, I would actually say that this one feels still very soft due to having so much hyperburst and having a thick sole. So it's still good for recovery days. I can run different paces. But since I do think it's a little bit more bouncy than the Torin 5, I find it probably a little bit easier to go faster in. It also is a little bit lighter, so I think they rate it as 8.3 or 8.4 ounces in a men's size 9, but in my men's size 11.5, I'm coming in at like 9.59. So it's about 0.3 of an ounce less than the Torin 5s. Even though it has the higher stack height, it's a little bit lighter, and I do think it is a little bit more propulsive feeling. The upper is extremely comfortable. I wouldn't say it's a sock-like feel as the Torin 5, but it's still a very comfortable shoe. So for me, my the first shoe I would grab for an easy recovery day shoe is probably the Torin 5. Now, there's also a difference. The Torin 5 is a 0 degree offset. There's a 6mm drop in the Skechers Go Run Max Road 5. So that's kind of depends on what you're looking for and what works for you. Shoes work well for me from 0mm drop to 6mm drop are usually where I'm happy. So they both work for me fine as far as their heel to toe drop. And like I said, I think I would go for just a total easy run where I'm not running real hard. I'm going to grab my Torin 5s most likely. You can still pick up the pace because they're fairly light, and they're not real mushy underfoot because that Ego Max does rebound well. But as far as picking up the pace some, I would go with my Max Road 5s. With all that with all that hyperburst midsole, it is pretty bouncy, and the H plate in the front I think also helps with some propulsion at toe off, so I think they're a little more propulsive, and they're still very comfortable. So I'm leaning toward using my Torin 5s on recovery days where I'm not worried about pace. For like my long race that I have perpetual motion 24-hour race in December, I'm probably I'll bring both shoes. I'll run in both. But in the parts where I'm going to try to be moving a little faster, I'm probably going to have on my Max Road 5s because I like the propulsion, and yet they're still very comfortable and cushioned. I only have about 70 or so miles on them. One of the knocks on the Max Road 5s in the past has been that the pods will wear out quickly. I have not found that to be a big case for me yet, but these you can see some wear on them at 70 miles, but I'm still estimating these shoes will at least last me 300-350 miles. That was my original estimate on the Torin 5s as well. I'm now thinking, because they seem to be wearing a little slower than the Torin 4.5s, I'm now estimating I might get 400 miles out of them. Not a huge difference either way, and I don't think you're going to go wrong with either one of these shoes if they fit you well and work well for your feet. I'm enjoying them both and just kind of have a slightly different use case for each. Anyway, that's my comparison of the two shoes. I hope you found it useful or somewhat entertaining. If you liked the video, please consider hitting the thumbs up and giving me a like. If you're interested in more of my content, please hit the subscribe button. I'd love to have you follow along as I produce more videos. Other than that, that's all for me today, and keep moving.